Hey everyone, good morning. All right, so I'm gonna try to speed run through everything I have to say to you because there's a lot of great speakers following me. But I just wanted to start out by letting you all know it's an honor to be here and just thank you for attending this part of the talk. So, my name is Zuvanich and I am a serial entrepreneur. I own a tech company and I also have a funded startup. I don't typically go around speaking about trans rights, but my background and my history is in trans rights, social awareness, and nonprofit work. So just because of the recent legislation that has come into play, I've kind of been pulled back into this work. By the way, if you think that you may want to interact with me at all, I'm just always on LinkedIn, so that's the QR code for that. I'll be around for the rest of the day hoping to make some partnerships or just talking to people who want to collaborate with us on the work that we're doing. So this is me and my family. I've got 2 teenagers. We are living in the Midwest, Kansas City, Missouri, and 3 out of the 4 people in this photo are transgender. I am the only white person in my family, and my background, along with nonprofit work, also includes the lens of coming out of poverty and going through homelessness, and just kind of working through some other barriers like chronic illness, and then I am a serial entrepreneur, so coming up out of that and pulling my family out of that has been a journey. So because of the recent legislation, knowing that my family will likely have to leave the Midwest, and we are pretty much in a position of privilege. I've owned a business and now I have a funded startup, and when I look at the queer community and what we're facing, I don't really stay awake at night wondering how we're gonna survive it. I just think like, man, the prices in LA are pretty high. I'm on Trulia, just trying to do the math. So I decided, maybe instead of being on Trulia and trying to figure out, am I going to Barcelona or LA or wherever, I could use some of this awareness and privilege and my background to apply towards a solution. So because of just the insane increase in legislation that we're seeing right now, I wanted to briefly touch on the experience that we have as a family, just to share it with you all. So some of you may be familiar as you've educated yourselves on your privilege about how some families have to have certain talks, like my family has to have the talk about, if you have melanated skin and you have to interact with a police officer, starting at 5 years old, we're telling our kids, like, hands up, be aware of what's going on, just follow directions, something that I was never told as a white kid growing up in the Midwest. So similarly, my family has a talk every spring about legislation. We sit down around the kitchen table and we say, these are the bills that are about to be passed. We may have to leave our home. We may have to pull you out of your schools. We have a plan, don't worry, but we are keeping an eye on things. And then we have to talk to doctors. We have to kind of make a tentative plan every year. So this spring, it kind of did come to pass, unfortunately. So in Missouri and Kansas now, where I'm on the border in Kansas City, I cannot use the men's bathroom legally in Kansas. I was told that I might not be able to access medication of any kind that my doctors prescribed to me as a trans man in Missouri, but then at the last minute, they said adults can, but kids can't. So that's where we're at right now, where we live. And this is a community that is disproportionately affected, and I guarantee you that all of you know someone who is trans and is being affected, whether you know it or not. A lot of us are not visible, especially now that there's been so much more awareness. Thankfully, there's a lot of people who just may show up and work in your office with you, and you will never know, but there's a lot of us going through this, and there's a lot of ways that you can provide support. So I reached out to Sarah Jane Ron, who is my co-founder. She is the operations manager at Open House, which is a nonprofit that helps senior LGBT individuals in the Bay Area access housing. And then Miles Sandler and Melissa Job also joined our governance board and helped us pull this together rapidly. This is like 6 weeks old. So we've achieved a lot in a very short amount of time. We put out a GoFundMe. We raised a little bit of money. In the Midwest, I'm not sure if you're aware, sometimes I have calls on the coast and people are just shocked to hear things like, when I came out, I thought I would lose my business. There are people who will not do business with me because I'm trans. It's very divisive where we're from. So we're looking to, of course, extend our reach and help more people through larger nationwide organizations now. And we've had a lot of success. So as we pull in these partners, I want to quickly walk you through the journey of what we'll be doing for the people we're helping. My vision was to be this missing puzzle piece as I personally sought out different avenues and resources for my family. So there are already resources for people who are homeless. There are actually people already providing some transportation even for people who need to leave states like Florida, Texas, Tennessee, and go to sanctuary states. But there wasn't really anyone providing transitional housing, especially on the level that many families need. Like families like mine and many others might be middle class. They may or may not be living paycheck to paycheck, but we are absolutely not willing to go tell our kids, you know, in order just to access the resources we need to get to the sanctuary state, we have to actually be homeless, and then we have to go to a shelter, and then we can qualify for services, and then we can find a house. No one's gonna do that. So the alternative, unfortunately, in many states right now, parents are having to weigh, do we empty our savings, or can we even afford to move, against, well, my doctor told me that my child needs this care. I know that suicidal ideation spikes in youth if they don't have access to that care, and yet in Florida, for instance, I'm being told that I could go to prison as a felon if I give my child that care. So they reach out to us, they let us know they need help. We get these requests throughout the day, every day right now. They do it through our website, and then people like you all, and just allies, and then other people in the community offer housing in a sanctuary state. So right now that would be Minneapolis, Colorado, and California. They do that through the website as well. Here's where we're at today. That's me talking to you all. And we are gathering resources. So I do not want to re-traumatize any of these families by saying, yeah, we've got a few houses, let's just throw you into one, good luck. You got 2 weeks. So our goal is to give people between 3 and 6 months of transitional housing. Some people will need far less. We will also be using transitional housing to provide medical access for people who want to travel to go get care and then go home, because not everyone can leave their home. So resources are also donated through the same website. And then in order to pull all this together and make sure that nobody falls off that cliff as soon as the transitional housing ends, we're following a model that is being used by communities around the country called community circles. So refugee organizations are a model for us, like the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society, whose motto is, we were refugees, so now we help refugees. They have small groups raise some money, and then the Airbnb also offers housing credits, and small groups can offer up to 6 months of support. They help secure housing. They provide some time-bound income support, and they assist with the things that you would expect people to need if they're suddenly uprooted in a new city. Maybe they need to find a job. They need to just figure out where are the good schools for my kids, maybe find medical help. We are working on programs for ERGs to participate as circles like this. So Welcome Corps is another example that Highest modeled themselves after, and we're following that model as well. So once we get to the point where we have a welcome circle set up, we've got resources and a house available, we go through our due diligence. Many of us in the organization are nonprofit workers or social workers, so we do formal intake, we match people up. We use Airbnb, and I would like to shout out Airbnb.org. We are talking to them, and hopefully we'll be a partner with them soon. Airbnb.org already helps refugees, so if we become a partner for them, then it's already in your app. You can just click, I want to help refugees, and these US-based refugees will be able to receive free housing that way. We are running everyone through Airbnb just to cover legal, insurance, and all other needs, and kind of give a stable framework that people are used to. So once these people are matched, individuals find housing, that community circle goes into place and gives support long-term, and then we do it again. I wanted to quickly call out the things that we are not doing. I have spoken to some people who are willing to give us pro bono legal help, transportation, and other services. So if that's you, please reach out to us. But right now we are focused mostly on transitional housing. We can't guarantee anything. These are the things we aren't doing. We aren't providing long-term care, but we are looking for partners. So if you're interested in helping us, you can donate, you can take the pledge that we've put online, you can even volunteer with us, or your corporation can partner with us. We would love to bring you all into this mission and just hopefully connect with enough ERGs over the next few months that we can bring in about $1 million. If your ERG gave us 1,000 out of your yearly budget and 1,000 ERGs did that, we'd be able to move thousands of people immediately. So there's lots of ways to participate. You can see these online. And that's about it. I hope that you all will join us. Thank you.